Coming up on Point News, 6 months and counting and no state budget. How the holdup is taking a toll on Point Park students.
A Point Park magazine expands its reach. The new way The Fix is attracting readers.
Big news for WPPJ, the national recognition coming to the campus radio station. Point News starts now.
Live from the Point Park University Broadcast Center in downtown Pittsburgh, this is Point News.
Good afternoon, I'm Red Watson.
And I'm Madison Taylor. Next week, Governor Tom Wolf will unveil his 2016-2017 budget plan.
There's one problem, though. State lawmakers still haven't come to an agreement on a 2015-2016 budget, and the impasse has left nonprofits, school districts, and students in flux.
Point News reporter Phil Papour is here to explain how some Point Park students have been affected. Phil?
The state budget is 6 months overdue, and some students' wallets are taking the hit. 950 Point Park students were due to receive the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency Act, also known as FIA. The only problem, the state is yet to release that money because of the impasse, so students expecting a refund check either received nothing or less than expected.
I just don't understand how they got how many weeks of vacation off while I was working my butt off trying to compensate for the fact that they still haven't given me the money that they owe me.
Laufer was due to receive $3,600, but instead she received just $1,800. Because of that, she's had to pick up extra work to pay for her off-campus apartment. FIA is currently reviewing a General Assembly action to release the funds. The agency has confirmed that the money will eventually end up in students' hands. Reporting for Point News, I'm Phil Papour.
Fire alarms ringing out caused some major disruptions in classes. Firefighters from the downtown area responded to the alarms as both Lawrence and Academic halls were evacuated. Students poured into Village Park, and there's no word on whether or not someone triggered the alarm or if there was an actual fire in one of the buildings. You could soon be paying less to hop on the T. The average price for public transportation in Allegheny County may be dropping for the first time in 35 years. The Port Authority is considering lowering its Zone 2 T rates to a flat fare of $2.50. That would be consistent throughout all stops.
It'll be a little bit more affordable, that people will think twice about getting in their car. Now it'll just be pay when you get on. It'll be very simple. You get on the bus, you pay. It will hopefully cut down on fare evasion.
The Port Authority says an overwhelming number of riders asked for the flat rate proposal. The Port Authority board will soon vote on the idea.
You may have noticed some new signs popping up on campus over the past few weeks. These signs, which designate a safe zone, are part of Point Park's new Safe Zone program. The areas are meant to provide students in the LGBTQ community a space where they can ask questions and learn about resources available to them. Many of Point Park's faculty have undergone training to learn about issues facing the LGBTQ community and how to help. Those who have will wear a pin or have a safe zone sign outside their office. University officials hope this program will create an inclusive and supportive environment on campus.
Campus-wide, community-wide, we are creating that environment. And if there are people who need additional education or resources, if this is one of the ways that they can get those.
We have no idea what it's like for an engineering student versus a COPA major, so we need to provide those supports in those instances when maybe not everything is perfect.
Students on campuses across the nation have been calling for programs like Safe Zone. Lindsay Onifer started the program here when she realized there were no similar resources available to the LGBTQ students on campus.
It was a new way for Point Park students to make connections in the business world. Point Park's first speed networking event hosted 30 employers ranging from sports, arts, and entertainment to communications and media. 20 students attended and met with alumni as well as employers from the Pittsburgh Magazine, Pittsburgh Penguins, and YWCA, to name a few. The whole idea is that students can meet with as many professionals as possible.
I'm here to connect with some of the sports teams here, like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Riverhounds, and I'm hoping to practice my networking skills and get to know some people in the industry.
I'm thinking that we will probably have it next spring as well. On February 9th, we're having our spring internship and job fair, which is focused in on business communication and sports, arts, and entertainment industries. We also have an etiquette dinner coming up on March 19th, and that's another great opportunity to network with employers.
On the upcoming events hosted by the Career Development Center on your Point Park email.
Coming up on Point News, it's a little dreary outside today.
We'll tell you about the seasonal disorder linked to the weather that students need to know about.
We are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
Start your morning with City News.
Start your morning with campus news.
Start your morning with political coverage.
Start your morning with fun.
Start your morning with us, only on Daybreak.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't get it confused.
Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
We know you're wondering what the A-list celebrities are up to. Well, here at Entertainment on Point, we're wondering too.
Have you heard about James Franco and Seth Rogen's new movie?
No, but have you heard Beyonce's new single? Did you see what she was wearing on that red carpet?
Honey, that was not cute.
Did you see what happened on Scandal this week? No, I was too busy keeping up with the Kardashians. No matter what your guilty pleasure is, we've got you covered.
Entertainment on Point.
Get to the point of pop culture. Yeah!
Exciting news for Point Park's radio station. For the 6th year in a row, WPPJ has nominees for national awards. The station has finalists in 3 different categories for the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Awards in New York. This year's nominations are even more special because there was more competition. In fact, the number of entrants increased so much that the announcement of finalists was delayed a week.
This year we're actually nominated for 3 categories that we've never been nominated for before, which is great for the station, just to show how much we've grown in terms of the dynamic.
It was pretty gratifying to know that someone other than like my immediate family recognized my work and thought it was good enough for to be nominated nationally. It's exciting.
Awards will be announced March 5th. The nominees are Tyler Polk, Matthew Kruth, Tim Zarin, and Paul Daniels.
WPPJ's success that Red just mentioned is due in part to internal growth of the station over the past few years. Point News reporter Red Watson spoke with a few members of WPPJ who believe that this is only the beginning.
I'm here inside the on-air studio at WPPJ, where every day students are getting opportunities to put themselves on the air and gain real-world experience working at a radio station. For shows like WPPJ Tonight, the added interest has been nothing but good as the station's increase in on-campus popularity has brought more attention to the younger shows. For older DJs, such as Brian Bresnahan, the expanse in variety in just 3 years is exciting to see.
So I think it's really great that DJs are allowed to have multiple shows now at multiple times a day. Like you have the Tonight Show and your Redline Show, and I think that that was a great addition that Trevor instituted, I believe,
The influx of new DJs at WPPJ has added more of a variety to the station, making for more diverse programming with show content ranging from politics and jazz all the way to Korean pop music. Music director Tim Zarin said it's made for one of the better experiences on campus.
I think the expansion has made WPBJ one of the coolest and one of the most fulfilling clubs that you can get involved at our school. I think from the get-go, you get hands-on experience, real-world experience, that this is what people in the radio business are doing, and when we graduate, we actually have experience.
For younger DJs like freshman Sam Morrison, the expanse in content means that the station gets more recognition moving forward through the years for WPPJ.
An actual audience. I mean, I joke around sometimes and say that, you know, the only confirmed people we have listening to the show are our parents and our pets. But, you know, hopefully it'll just be the thing people do to listen to student radio, actually listen to the music we put on, listen to the personalities, listen to the commentary we have, and have a lovely evening with us.
When asked what they saw in the future for WPPJ, both Morrison and Zarin said they hope the station can continue to expand moving forward and for it to become something people on campus can gravitate toward. Reporting for Point News, I'm Red Watson.
It's the middle of winter, and most people are looking for ways to stay warm.
But some folks over in Market Square were ready to freeze. The good cause benefiting from the cold coming up on Point News.
Here at the Pioneers sideline, we get freshmen involved as quickly as possible so they get the real-world experience on air and behind the scenes to set themselves apart in internships and potential jobs. Blaine, where is that video? I needed it in KeyPro like yesterday.
All right, I got you, Chris. But I had a quick question for you guys.
What do you mean the
Can you
questions?
just, like,
It's always a
answer me
question.
what's
It's always a... What? Where is he? Blaine.
Blaine.
Blaine! Freshman, you can't find any good ones anymore.
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the second floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
An expression, a belief, a symbol, freedom to worship, an unspoken word. To express yourself means standing up for what you believe in. There's a freedom to worship and a freedom to live. To speak never saying a word, to love, to let your voice be heard. The light of your own path. For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Boom.
A lot of people suffer from this time of year, SAD or seasonal affective disorder, and it's more than winter blues. SAD is a common type of depression that affects 5 to 13% of the U.S. population. It's most common in college students and causes drastic mood swings, loss of motivation, and high anxiety levels.
Kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's generally the first big rain. And then I'll be fine until it starts to get really cold and snowy. But right at the beginning of winter, there's always one really big first rain, and that day I'm always a mess every year.
If you need help getting out of your winter funk, experts recommend exercise. They also say that exposing yourself to light and adjusting your sleep schedule will help increase your levels of dopamine. Right now, let's get a check on weather with Aaron Myler. Aaron?
Thanks, guys. So for today, we're going to see a high of 38, but the low is going to be down below freezing, so our slight chance of precipitation should not be too bad. Looking to our weekend ahead, we're going to start off on Friday and Saturday with highs in the low 40s, but lows are going to be down below freezing, so it could get worse. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to see the highs, the partly cloudy set, and on Sunday, we're going to see a high of 48, back above freezing again. So if you guys want to get like a light jacket and go out for the winter weather. Now tossing back to Red, who has a story on how people are using the cold weather for a good cause.
Market Square has become known for holding a variety of events throughout the years, and this past weekend was no exception. Point News reporter Phil Papour has the story.
Right in the middle of winter, when many are searching for ways to stay warm, some are staying inside this, an ice house. They say they're freezing for a reason. For the second year in a row, Dollar Energy Fund built an ice house in Market Square for its Cool Down for Warmth campaign.
Well, we wanted to find an event that would kind of reach the general public and be as much of a fundraiser as a fundraiser. And so building an ice house is certainly something that's going to stand out. And when people see a house made of ice, they're going to stop and say, what's this all about? So we come up with this event last year, had a pretty successful year, so we decided to make it bigger and better this year.
The goal of the Cool Down for Warmth campaign is to help those having trouble paying their utilities and heating bills. Not only is the Dollar Energy Fund raising money for a good cause, but it's also raising awareness.
It's like publicity, so it, brings other people in even from different cities, even, if they come in from another state and they just happen to see it, they'll talk about it later and it spreads the word, and people talk about what Pittsburgh does for charity then.
It's really neat and very noticeable. The word really gets out. I like it. Makes me feel like a part of something neat. I don't know, something big.
Last year, Dollar Energy Fund raised more than $140,000 for the cause, and they're hoping to do the same this year. Reporting for Point News, I'm Phil Papour.
The Carolina Panthers will square off in this Sunday's Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos. It'll be a matchup between two #1 overall picks at quarterback between Cam Newton and Peyton Manning. Festivities for the game are scheduled to start at 6:30. NHL defenseman John Scott was named the MVP at last week's All-Star game. Scott was voted into the game by fans, despite playing only 11 games this season. Scott scored twice during the championship, leading to a 1-0 win. Scott's helmet is now headed to Toronto's Hockey Hall of Fame, and his name continues to be a trend on Twitter. And in Point Park sports, the Point Park women's basketball team won Tuesday evening, beating WVU Tech 64-56 at CCAC South Gym. During that game, junior forward Carly Forsay scored a career-high 30 points, with Leah Hurst scoring 23 points. For the latest on the Pioneers women's basketball team, you can follow them on Twitter at Point Park Sports.
That does it for this week's Point News. Be sure to join us Thursday live at 2 p.m.
Have a great week, everybody.